Monitor Audio Group is sort of a group of 3 brands, Monitor Audio, Roxanne and Block. But the Monitor Audio brand, which is the parent, was founded in 1972. So 2022 is a big year for us, 50 years, and we wanted to do something to celebrate that. So that's why we're presenting the Concept 50 loudspeaker. The Concept 50 loudspeaker, it's a prototype at the moment, but it's one we fully intend to build. So over the next few months, we're going to evolve this design, and we're looking to go into mass production sometime in the winter before Christmas. It was born of a conversation, 3-4 years ago. We knew this date was coming up. We knew we had a big birthday. And Michael and I were given sort of carte blanche to develop something that really showcased what the brand could do. And we sat down and we started talking about what we felt the ultimate loudspeaker could be. A balance of acoustic performance, which is first and foremost what our brand is about, but also how we create a statement loudspeaker that looks great. So we start talking about configurations, what the dream configuration would be. So that's sort of where it started. And then we built the loudspeaker and we built the aesthetic around that. And that's how we started that journey. I'm going to pass over to Michael now, and he'll start talking to you about some of the sort of key points, technology points in the loudspeaker, and then we'll go on to listen to a little bit of music.
So I'm going to talk you through 4 technology points today. We've got quite a lot more stories to talk about over the coming months as we move into production and we start releasing more information about the speaker. But we wanted to take the 4 key ones today and just get a flavour of what we're trying to do and how we've come to the sort of decisions we've made on some of this. So the first one is the new Gen 3 Mpd Tweeter. So this is our new micropleated diaphragm tweeter, which is based on AMT type technology. This is the most compact tweeter we've made so far. With the first gen coming in the Platinum 2G, the second gen in the Synergy system, cinema system we just launched. But the third gen's focus really was getting it linear, smooth and flat with a new waveguide, but also making it a lot smaller. So not the diaphragm surface area, but everything around the diaphragm. So we're not making the actual tweeter smaller, but we're taking all of the motor unit, the magnetic system, all of the assembly and the jigging points, and we're shrinking all of that and moving it to the rear. And the main reason we need to do that is moving into my second point, the array. So what we're calling the array here, the 6 small mid-range drive units, and the tweeter, the Mpd Gen 3 tweeter in the middle. So again, in order to get those mid-range drive units as close as possible to make sure the directivity as wide as possible at the crossover point to the tweeter, we had to make that tweeter as small as possible so we weren't compromising the spacing. We also had to make each individual mid-range drive a chassis as small as possible because you don't want to waste space just on mounting systems. You want to be able to put all those mid-range drivers as close as you possibly can get to them and as close to the tweeter. So we've achieved that. I mean, if you look behind you later at the green one, you can see through the grille and you can see the six flat mid-range cones and the tweeter in the middle and the waveguide and how close each drive unit is to the rest. One of the reasons we went for the small mid-range drivers like that, or many of the reasons, is one, bandwidth, so it's effectively a full range drive unit, so it's perfectly flat and linear with no signs of breakup until above 10 kilohertz. It actually goes a lot higher than that. It go out to 20, 23 kilohertz in terms of overall bandwidth. And at the bottom end, they go all the way down to about 150 hertz perfectly happily and have a good 2-3 mil of excursion. So they're really capable little mid-range drivers. You combine that with 6 of them, and you've now got the surface area, more surface area than a Platinum 2G mid-range driver, 100 mil mid-range driver. But you've also managed to now arrange them in a way that gives you an acoustic point source system. So you're going to get soundstage, depth, height, and width. And you're also going to get that laser focus you get in the center of the soundstage when you play female vocals and other alike. So that's technologies 1 and 2. Technology 3 is the force-cancelled bass drivers. And we've done a few different things here. Firstly, we've created a module. So these top 2 bass drivers are bolted together as a module, and they're built on a bench as that. They're wired through to a single set of terminals, and they become the structural element for the cabinet. So these 2 cabinets here are only attached together via 2 bolts, one on either side, and you see the caps on the side, and they're into the bass driver arrays. So they are the structural main element of the whole system, and they're the thing that stops it from this gap from closing up or being flexible. They're incredibly strong arrays. They're cast aluminium chassis with cast aluminium interlinks in the middle here, and all the wires go through these bars at the top and bottom. The mid-range pod assembly here is floating, so this is not structural at all. This just comes off the system. The force-cancelled nature is, well, we're cancelling the momentum of the two drive units. So they're pushing into each other, and that cancels their momentum. But we're left at the end with one more form of vibration. That's the air pressure captured inside the box. And that is something we also have to deal with, because we can't cancel that one out. So I'll pass back to Charles just to talk about how we did the cabinet construction.
Yeah, so the cabinet is obviously quite different from anything Monitor Audio has done before. We worked with a new cabinet manufacturer based in the UK because we wanted to use a new material. So it's made of a solid surface material, which is made primarily of an acrylic polymer, which has got a very, very high mineral content. It makes it incredibly rigid, incredibly dense, which is a benefit. While the force-cancelled drivers don't generate any sort of base energy vibration, we have the air movement that we have to deal with. So there is still energy we need to ensure that the cabinets are nice and rigid. So that was one of the real benefits of this material. This material is then thermoformed to form the structure that you see here. And when we thermoform and assemble this cabinet, we integrate the braces, but a lot of other elements as well. So the port tube becomes part of the structure of the cabinet. So the bracing is enhanced by the port tube, which runs from the bottom of the cabinet sort of all the way up. So it actually becomes a bit more of this monocoque structure that we have going through the whole design. And then the aesthetic. Obviously, it's quite unique. The inward-firing force-cancelled bass drivers was semi-deliberate. It gave Michael's team the opportunity to do something a bit different. But from my point of view, in the aesthetics, in the product design, we wanted to do something a bit different, because a lot of high-tech loudspeakers are obviously very technology-forward. And that's not really where we are as a brand. We want to, we're very much a performance audio brand, but we want to be human first. We want to make our products look accessible and not too overpowering in a room. So that was something each of these loudspeakers has got 11 drive units in it. 22 drive units, and if we made those all forward-facing and we made those all visible, it would become a very overpowering loudspeaker. So what we intentionally did was, with this configuration, work really hard to make those as discreet as possible and actually create something that doesn't overpower a room and also keeps the height down as well. So actually, while these, what we feel genuinely the ultimate performance loudspeaker, they're not massive, not overpowering. So that was something we'd put a lot of work in and we're really quite proud of.